The fact of the matter is, and I'm sure you are aware, your food has been scientifically modified in a way that has either purposely or inadvertently made millions of people very sick. And as a physician, I do believe that some of that poison, along with poisoned water systems, is responsible for the onslaught of prostate cancer. Now, prostate cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in American men. And get this, in the United States of America, according to the World Cancer Research Fund, there is more prostate cancer here than anywhere else, and ranks number 2 in the world for prostate cancer deaths. Now, one thing is clear. The level of estrogen and fake estrogen on board in the male body is scary. And what's even scarier is the impact that it has on male fertility, erectile function, prostate enlargement, and ultimately prostate cancer. Now, we were created to heal ourselves naturally. Every day, each and every one of us has cancerous cells that grow, that are in the body, and the body mobilizes to heal and remove those cancer cells on an ongoing basis every single day. But unfortunately, in so many of us, the cells are made quicker than our body can heal them. So science is continuously looking for food items that will actually help support your body's natural process to heal. Now, we're in the science realm, we're looking for food that turns your DNA into a cancer-fighting machine. And in a previous video, I discussed the power of broccoli in prostate cancer prevention and the clinical trials and studies on using concentrated broccoli extract to prevent prostate cancer tumor growths. So I'll link to that video below. But let's take things further and offer you some hope if you are worried about prostate cancer, if you have prostate cancer, or either because it's a recent biopsy, or because it's part of your family history, or just because it seems like it impacts so many people that you know and you're worried about it for yourselves. Either way, you're in the right place. And I'm about to blow your mind when I tell you that as far back as 1980, health professionals knew that eating this one thing often was actually associated with a reduced risk of prostate cancer, particularly the kinds of prostate cancer that metastasize or spread through the body really quickly. Now, the study also found that the protective benefit was stronger for more aggressive and lethal subtypes of prostate cancer. So why haven't you heard about it, right? The study conducted in 1995 followed a cohort of 50,000 men. This food item has over 24 published studies with over 15,000 cases involved, and has studied this natural food item and its ability to either prevent prostate cancer or fight prostate cancer. It's a delicious food item. It's easy to find. You can grow it in your garden fairly quickly to avoid being doused in pesticides. And the active ingredient has over 20 published papers on how it has been seen in the lab to inhibit prostate cancer cells. Now, the active ingredient in this all-natural food item is called lycopene. And I want you to watch the whole video because we'll discuss the food item, the science behind why it is so powerful, the best way to cook it, and then we will finish with the scientific recommendations, right? So I'm putting links below to the sources of these scholarly articles so you can see for yourself. This is out there, and it's just not getting out there quick enough. Because when you see what this is, it's going to blow your mind. Of course, can you guess? So if so, pause the video and drop a comment to let me know if you know what I'm talking about or not. I'm Dr. Rachael, and this is what we do here each and every week. We do these deep dives into men's sexual health using an all-natural approach. And although I am a board-certified family medicine physician, you will never ever hear me push medication as the first option on anyone without at first exploring some all-natural solutions. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any of this groundbreaking information that is really hard to find elsewhere. Now, while American manufacturers were figuring out how to really kind of poison us and get us hooked to their food products that have made us all pretty sick and fueled prostate cancer in an exponential way, studies have been ongoing on how protective and how anti-cancer the tomato is. Because the extract from the plant, whose fruit is an edible berry, so scientifically it is considered a fruit, but in the culinary world of cooking, it is considered a vegetable. It is delicious, it's savory, it's succulent, and guess what? It fights prostate cancer, and it is an amazing vegetable. In fact, the tomato in its raw form has a form of a powerful antioxidant called lycopene, and as an trans isomer, which means that the molecule is actually difficult to absorb, that's how it is in its raw state. But when tomatoes are cooked at a low temperature, made into a paste, the structure of the lycopene is transformed into a form that your body can then use and absorb. So as delicious as these are raw, the real magic comes from when it's cooked in a particular way so that the lycopene actually isn't damaged or decreased. That process we'll discuss later in the video, but I think it's so important for you now to understand how tomatoes can be such a healing force. Isn't it just medication that can heal? No, because when it comes particularly to prostate cancer, it is important to note that studies indicate that men who have higher levels of lycopene in their bodies seem to be less likely to have prostate cancer and or to develop prostate cancer. Now, this data was published back in a 1999 journal called Cancer Research, right? This was a nested case control study that used plasma samples or blood samples obtained in 1982 from healthy men enrolled in the Physicians' Health Study. And lycopene was identified at this time as having the clearest inverse relationship to the development of prostate cancer. What that means is that the more lycopene the person had in the body, the less likely they were to have an aggressive form of prostate cancer or prostate cancer in general. That's amazing, right? Because once lycopene is absorbed within the body, it can be stored in 4 main areas, and I've listed them here. The intestines, the adrenals, the lymph nodes, which actually serve as your body's filter, and the prostate, which is likely why when scientists compared lycopene from tomatoes to other carotenoids or antioxidants, lycopene outperformed them all in prostate cancer prevention. So lycopene from tomatoes has been found to block oxidative stress. What does that mean? It means that it's blocking DNA damage caused by so many things that we're exposed to on a daily basis. Number 2, it has been shown to have the ability to block that communication of cancer cells to each other. See, they have to communicate to each other to tell each other, hey, spread out and grow in order to replicate and spread. So if we can block that, that's amazing. 3, it reduces inflammation, which is the beginning place of chronic disease and cancer. It all starts with inflammation. And 4, it turns on programmed cell death so that your body can now kill those cancer cells at a greater capacity. And 5, lycopene can help restore function and power to the powerhouse of your cells, the mitochondria. And 6, it can also block the growth of cancer cells. Whoa! Wow, right? So today we're discussing the most powerful prostate cancer combating all natural antioxidant that's found naturally in high concentrations in beautifully gorgeous tomatoes. Now, cancer centers are even encapsulating lycopene into lysosomes to try to deliver it directly to the cancer site. That's how much science believes in lycopene. So if you or a loved one has been diagnosed with a form of prostate cancer, there is a prostate cancer diet that you can consume to help prevent and help give treatments more of an opportunity to help turn your body into a healing machine, to decrease the chances of it coming back, to help your body become a cancer-fighting machine that it was actually designed to be. Now, 2 of those veggies need to be broccoli and tomatoes. You know, my videos oftentimes don't make it into your algorithm, so subscribe today so that you don't miss out on all this natural, groundbreaking information that could help long term. Now, my channel's almost at 1 million subscribers, as you'll see, like here. Help me get there. Tell your friends to subscribe. Listen, you are at high risk for prostate cancer if you are of African descent, if you have a certain genetic DNA SNP that could make you predisposed, if you have a low intake of lycopene, and if you eat foods with high levels of alpha-linoleic acid. Those of you eating Crisco cooked products. And you are at a high risk of fatal prostate cancer if you are a smoker, if you have a high BMI, meaning you're overweight, if you have a lot of fattiness or fat in your body around your organs, if you have a high intake of alpha-linoleic acid, if you have a high intake of calcium. So this information is extremely important. Now, we've discussed the science behind the power of tomatoes to turn your body into a prostate cancer fighting machine. Now let's talk cooking styles. Those of you eating raw tomatoes may find that lycopene isn't being absorbed properly because in that state, your digestive enzymes and your liver enzymes have to work to convert lycopene into its usable form. Now, if the tomatoes are diced and then cooked at temperatures below 100 degrees Fahrenheit, now this is when the lycopene is most available. Now, when you cook it at higher temperatures, you're just stirring that pot, cooking and cooking, it actually appears to damage the lycopene or make it so that the lycopene is less available. A study published in the Journal of Food Science looked at microwaving the tomatoes, baking them, and or frying them, and the sweet spot of lycopene preservation when cooking tomatoes was for them to be in the microwave for 60 seconds, and this actually left 64.4% of the lycopene intact and available. Now, lycopene is really highly sensitive to heat, and when you cook tomatoes for longer periods of time and at higher temperatures, the lycopene breaks down. So look for tomato paste in a tube. Within tubes, they usually preserve it using salt instead of citric acid. And tubes of tomato paste are more likely to have actually been made in Italy. So you're like, well, why is this even important? Well, American manufacturers typically tend to preserve the tomato paste using citric acid. So it kind of has a tart taste. And Italian manufacturers cook their paste at lower temperatures. The American standard is 200 degrees, which actually essentially destroys the lycopene. So if you are wondering what process is used in your favorite tomato paste, are they cooking it at a lower temperature or a higher temperature? Pick up the phone. Give them a call and ask the manufacturer. Their phone number should be on the packaging. That's also a time to ask if the can is BPA free and if the tomatoes are organic in origin. Then come back and post here how you're combining organic broccoli and tomatoes into a delicious cancer-fighting meal. We all love recipes here. So subscribe and help me get to 1 million here. I'm Dr. Rachel. I love you. Boom! I'm out.